This woman should be in jail. Literally, Hillary Clinton should be behind bars. And so should the people who worked for her who did this. This is so blatantly corrupt. She wanted to distract from her email scandal. She cooked up a plan to accuse Trump of being a Russian agent in order to distract from her own legitimate scandal. She made up a scandal about Trump being a Russian asset. And they banked on the intel agencies working with her to perpetuate this lie, and it appears they were only too happy to assist.
What happens when a legacy built on power, spin, and rehearsed comebacks collides with Megyn Kelly's razor-sharp precision? Absolute combustion. Hillary Clinton carried decades of political armor, but Megyn arrived with truth like a scalpel and humor that sliced through every facade. No mercy, no fluff, just a ruthless unraveling of the myth in real time. This wasn't a roast, it was a reckoning, and Hillary never saw the spotlight flip that fast.
We now know how Russiagate got started, and we know that it was all a lie started by the Hillary Clinton campaign. That the Hillary Clinton campaign realized she was in trouble because of her email scandal, which had broken in 2015 in the wake of Benghazi. We found these emails of hers that were weird, and people were like, what server was that on, and so on. And it created a problem for her all the way up to election.
Hillary Clinton walks into every appearance like the ghost of political scandals past, dragging behind her a list of missteps that still carries the scent of entitlement. Megyn Kelly didn't just step into that disaster zone. She came armed with a spotlight, a megaphone, and a flamethrower of sarcasm strong enough to melt the ice off Hillary's scripted smiles. At this stage, Hillary isn't even a politician anymore. She's a political rerun, looping endlessly in the background while insisting she's still the main event.
A bit more of a description. Here's a part, I won't make you watch the whole, a part of the trailer for Gutsy.
Okay, here we go. We're hitting the road to shine a light on women who inspire us to be bolder and braver.
Leadership doesn't look one way. It's a giant rainbow.
You're not gonna break me down. You'll get worn out before I do.
Women who push us outside our comfort zone.
If you are enjoying this breakdown, please hit that subscribe button. Megyn didn't have to dig deep to find the cracks. Hillary's record is a buffet of political faceplants, served cold with a side of deleted emails and topped with extra blame-shifting sauce. Watching Hillary lecture on leadership is like watching a GPS recalculate after someone drives straight into a lake. And Megyn Kelly, she's the passenger in the back, calmly asking why anyone thought this driver deserved a license in the first place.
So Hillary Clinton is now pretending like she did not call Donald Trump an illegitimate president when he beat her in 2016. She's expressing her horror and how indignant she is over him challenging the 2020 election results. And okay, that's fine. You can say you don't like how Trump behaved after, whatever, his loss, January 6th, the whole bit. But you cannot, if you are Hillary Clinton, play the whatever challenge and election.
There's a certain comedy in how Hillary clings to relevance, piecing together a campaign with the grace of duct tape, built on podcast cameos, university lectures, and condescending interviews. Megyn had no interest in politeness. She struck a match and watched the carefully crafted illusion collapse in real time. Hillary's version of leadership is the kind that makes people nostalgic for silence, showing up as a living reminder of every political mistake we all wishes had been buried for good.
And you guys, but just for the record, let's play SOT 10.
I do think that he knows that he's an illegitimate president. I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows that there were a bunch of different reasons why the election turned out the way it did. And as I've been telling candidates who have come to see me, you can run the best campaign, you can even become the nominee, and you can have the election stolen from you.
She doesn't campaign anymore. She lingers, like that pop-up on your screen begging you to subscribe to failure. And Megyn treated every second of that lingering as if it were a comedy sketch begging for punchlines. The Clinton Foundation, that's no foundation. It's a monument to missed opportunities, disguised as humanitarian hustle. And every time Hillary dares to speak about integrity, somewhere in the universe, irony slips on a banana peel and crashes headfirst into a pile of classified documents.
And as she got closer to Election Day, she decided to concoct 2 lies about Donald Trump to distract from her email scandal. She got the Steele dossier through this Fusion GPS company that her campaign paid, and she got this group CrowdStrike, which was the one responsible for the hack into that. That's the one that said that the Russians hacked.
Megyn Kelly didn't even need to exaggerate. She just held up a mirror and the absurdity spilled out like a clown car packed with bad decisions. Hillary's moral compass spins like a slot machine, and every time it stops, it lands on deflect. She's the type to burn bridges, then lecture about unity while waving around a speech titled "Why I Should Have Won." Megyn simply pointed at the wreckage and asked, "How many times does history have to scream no thanks before you listen?" The funniest part? Hillary still imagines she's feared, not respected. Feared, like some final boss in an outdated political video game. But the cheat codes are leaked, the graphics are glitching, and the soundtrack is just her blaming Russia, sexism, weather patterns, and even gravity for losing. Megyn carved through that spin like a hot knife through butter-flavored nonsense. There's delusion, and then there's Hillary, a masterclass in self-branding with zero charm and endless contradictions. Remember her attempt to be relatable? As if swapping a pantsuit for a flannel shirt could erase decades of polished evasions and boardroom smirks.
Hillary Clinton just weighed in publicly again on why she lost. And just in case you were thinking it was because she didn't go to Wisconsin, you are wrong. It is you, women of America. It is your fault. She now sits down for an interview and decides that the reason she didn't win is American females. That they didn't like that she wasn't.
Megyn Kelly turned the entire charade into a late-night skit, the kind that feels like it was written by a committee of out-of-touch interns. Hillary strolls into interviews as if the world owes her a thank you card just for existing in the same timeline. Megyn took that inflated self-importance and smashed it like a piñata, blindfolded, swinging hard, cracking it wide open with wit, sharper than anything in Hillary's policy binder. She talks about transparency the way a magician talks about secrets, with a wink and a trap door. But Megyn never flinched. Every Hillary speech carries more footnotes than a tax audit, while Megyn skimmed the cliff notes and laughed at the obvious. If the truth exists anywhere in that mess, it's buried behind a firewall, tangled in red tape, and encrypted under layers of plausible deniability. And then there's the trail of political casualties in her wake. Staffers, donors, alliances, even entire regions that voted once and never again. Hillary treats political support like a seasonal lease, while Megyn turned that rental agreement into a punchline. After all, nothing screams "I care about the people" quite like $250,000 speaking gigs for banks, followed by tweets about wage equality from the comfort of a Gulf Stream.
Hillary Clinton decided to drop an op-ed in the New York Times today that's entitled, "How much dumber will this get?" And she uses Signalgate and the messaging by Pete Hegseth and Mike Walls and JD Vance and Tulsi and others on there as the jumping off point to talk about how dumb the Trump administration is. Some highlights. She calls the Trump...
And then there's the endless pivoting. One day she's a progressive warrior, the next a pragmatic centrist, then suddenly a feminist icon followed closely by a geopolitical expert with all the warmth of a frozen spreadsheet. Megyn Kelly didn't just roast that inconsistency. She strapped it to a rocket and launched it into the land of make-believe, where Hillary's fans still believe 2016 was nothing more than a clerical error. Her campaign strategy has always been reboot and rebrand, except the product never changes and the slogans sound like weary sighs from history itself. Watching her shift blame is like sitting through interpretive dance in slow motion. Megyn never interrupted. She let the performance play out, then critiqued it with the glee of someone who's waited years for the curtain to finally drop. The dance is stale, the moves are rehearsed, and even the spotlight looks exhausted. Megyn simply offered a mirror and let the audience see who truly forgot their steps. Hillary's relationship with power is like a child shaking an empty piggy bank, hoping one last coin might fall out. Megyn didn't even have to push. The illusion of command wobbled on its own, and for someone claiming to be a unifier, Hillary has perfected the art of division. The moment she enters, the air changes. Part confusion, part exhaustion, and pure theatrics. Megyn Kelly just brought a bullhorn to that silence and made sure the punchline echoed loud enough for everyone to hear.
Are gutsy. And in case you just need a little bit more of a description, here's a part, I won't make you watch the whole, a part of the trailer for Gutsy.
Okay, here we go. We're hitting the road to shine a light on women who inspire us to be bolder and braver.
Leadership doesn't look one way. It's a giant rainbow.
You're not gonna break.
The obsession with legacy is where the real comedy lies. Hillary longs to be remembered as the one who shattered ceilings, but all she's really done is sweep the shards into a corner and charge admission just to stand near them. Megyn poked straight through that glass monument and found nothing but recycled slogans and stale press releases. Hillary dreams of history books, but all she's offering are footnotes and skipped chapters. And she's not above the fray. She's knee-deep in it, tossing jabs from the sidelines like a sports commentator who's forgotten the rules. Megyn flipped that play-by-play into a blooper reel where every tweet, every speech, every smug grin after dodging accountability feels like a sitcom stripped of its laugh track. Megyn Kelly simply sat on the couch, eyebrow raised, sipping cold facts while pointing out the plot holes. Hillary keeps appearing like the answer to a question no one has asked since 2016. Her entire platform now reduced to passive-aggressive interviews and book tours that sell about as well as decorative paperweights.
Let's talk politics for a minute. Hillary Clinton is back doing a late night tour. She spoke with Jimmy Fallon and she had some thoughts on this boiling down to Trump versus Biden again.
What do you say to voters who are upset that those are the two choices?
Get over yourself. Those are the two choices.
Yeah, love that.
Right? And
good.
You know, it's kind of like one is old and effective and compassionate, has a heart, and really cares about people. And one is old and has been charged with 91.
Megyn Kelly didn't just tear apart the brand, she exposed the entire business model. Power by nostalgia, strategy by memory, relevance by sheer volume. And every time Hillary tried to twist the narrative, Megyn was already there, flipping through receipts and pointing at the fine print. There's this notion that Hillary is somehow above criticism because she's been through so much. Sure, if so much means years of calculated ambition, relentless image control, and masterful dodging of real consequences. Megyn shredded that myth like it came straight from a press kit. She didn't mock the struggles, she mocked the spin. There's a world of difference between resilience and rehearsed deflection, and Hillary has been performing the latter since long before smartphones existed. Megyn didn't need a character assassination. Hillary wrote the role, directed the play, and handed out the programs herself. All Megyn did was point out the plot twist that never came. Watching Hillary reinvent herself every few years is like sitting through a rebooted series nobody asked for. Same script, just brighter lights. Megyn pulled back the curtain, exposed the camera crew, and reminded everyone, if the ending never changes, maybe the story was never that good in the first place.
Joe and Kamala can win by 3 million votes and still lose. Take it from me. So we need numbers overwhelming so Trump can't sneak or steal his way to victory.
Okay. So why can't a smart guy like Maher know that? I mean, he genuinely seemed surprised to hear this from me. He doesn't, I think it's just his true hatred.
And the irony? Hillary still believes the microphone belongs to her. She takes the stage with vintage confidence, pitching policy ideas like they weren't rejected seasons ago. Megyn Kelly didn't even have to argue. She just stepped in and revealed what happens when style tries to outlast substance. The crowds have moved on, the tune is off key, and the applause now sounds like nothing more than echoes from rallies long past. The roast isn't over. Hillary's still clinging to the spotlight, trying to script another act, while Megyn has already rolled out the blooper reel, the behind-the-scenes footage, and the script supervisor facepalming in the corner. And somewhere between campaign memoirs and awkward photo ops, the reality breaks through. Hillary Clinton isn't the future. She's the punchline waiting to happen. Megyn Kelly just made sure we all had front row seats. Hillary still walks into rooms as if fate robbed her of the presidency, as if destiny itself left her on red. But Megyn never let that fantasy breathe. She crushed it with the weight of a decade's worth of reality checks and a closet packed with unanswered questions. Because Hillary's greatest strength has never been solving scandals, it's surviving them.
She created this entire storyline around the Russians doing these terrible things in tandem with Donald Trump in order to, yes, hurt Trump, but also mostly to distract from her own scandal. And we also know that Obama knew. He knew about it. He was told by his intelligence agencies in the late summer and fall of 2016 at the...
Megyn didn't just revisit those scandals, she dusted them off, lit the fuse, and turned them into a fireworks show of political absurdity. There isn't a version of Hillary that hasn't been beta tested by a team of consultants. Every haircut, every speech inflection, every forced attempt at a viral soundbite. It's all factory produced and packaged like a focus group product launch. But Megyn stripped it back to the raw basics. Behind the branding is someone who's rewritten her own story more times than she's ever answered a direct question. And that's where the roast landed hardest, smack in the center of the carefully manufactured myth. Hillary isn't feared anymore. She's studied, dissected, mocked. Megyn made it painfully clear. Whatever mystery once surrounded her has evaporated under the heat of endless comebacks and scarce answers. She's not a phoenix, she's a rerun. And every so-called rise comes with less flame and more stage smoke. The political world has already moved on. New players, new drama, fresh disasters. Yet there stands Hillary, still auditioning for a role that's already been canceled. Megyn didn't have to shout it. She simply walked through the wreckage and pointed to the empty spotlight. And that's the sting. Hillary built a legacy she can't escape, a name that's now more punchline than promise. In the end, Megyn didn't just destroy the myth, she reminded everyone why no one's buying the sequel.